Hi, welcome to Stargazing Seamstress Studio. I will be covering today a design handmade by Glow, but design. I will be making an exposed core on PUL. So this is quite cool design. Is by pattern maker, handmade by Glow. It's called Franken. You've got top, bottom and 3 different sets of wings that snap at 2.5. Very clear laid out design. You just cut along this line, then cut another section here, then you choose wings. I think I will go for the middle ones. Now got to piece that together. I will use a glue stick and stick on this little overlap I made. Okay. Alright, I will probably make the 9.5 inch regular, 9.75, sorry. Okay, you will cut along the solid line. Now I have cut out the pattern. I really like how clear the lines are on this design. You can clearly see it's professionally drafted. Now you will need to get the core piece separately. You can either print another set or do a little trick like this. You will need to follow the dotted line. I will make an incision here with a craft knife on the dotted line and cut the exposed core piece away from the pattern, saving myself some paper. And also this will give me guide later on to place the exposed core better on the fabric. Now you've got your mine 2 pieces for exposed core and for the backer. That's a pattern for the backer, that's for the exposed core. Now you will need to choose your fabric. I will go this time for a red cotton with PUL for the backer and some glow-in-the-dark moons and stars for the exposed topper. I will cut the backer first. It's worth mentioning this pattern is sew on the line, so it does not include seam allowance. Place your pattern on the back of the fabric and trace. Leaving enough space all around the fabric. Clearance here, everywhere, just as if you had a seam allowance. I am using very fine tip pen to have my lines very clear and precise. It gives nicer finish. The best is to use a Crayola fine markers, fine line markers. They wash away very easily and are super cheap and available everywhere. Okay, that will be my backer, one of the backers, the one that will go on the top, and on the back of this I will place PUL. Now cut it around, not too close to your trace lines, close enough to have a defined shape. If you wonder what I'm using, is a fingertip rotary cutter. It's very handy to go over very small curves, precise lines. I couldn't live without it. Okay, that's one piece of the backer, and that's my PUL. Is laminated polyethylene fabric. It's got a laminated film over the polyester fabric. It makes it waterproof but also breathable. The fabric got a little tiny dots in the laminate that makes it breathable and waterproof. Pads with this fabric will end up very thin and super water resistant. Place that backer fabric on top, right sides together, and roughly cut around. Our backer. Now I will decide where to put my turning hole. I don't like my turning holes too big. I think that will be enough on the bottom here. It's backer prepped. Now for the topper. think this tiny piece of fabric will be just enough for this project. Yeah, I like exposed cores because for the topper you can use very little fabric, especially when you have expensive knits or knitted fabrics or bamboo velour that was dyed and you pay £30 per meter. Then it's a nice way to use that fabric, use every last bit of that fabric. Exposed cores all the way. You can pair it up with very plain backer. Okay, I have traced the sewing lines. I will iron that fabric as well, make sure it fits properly. Should have done it beforehand, sorry. Remember to iron your fabric before cutting into it or even placing your sewing lines. I will make this pad in a light absorbency, so I will need only one layer of bamboo fleece. That's my bamboo fleece. It's very nice and soft. I like to play about, just get the most of it, play about with the placement, get most of the fabric. Don't stretch it too much, just pat it down or iron it best. Okay, here. Cut the same size as your topper, or roughly bigger, slightly bigger. There we go. I am going to iron everything now. If you are like me and forget to press your fabric before cutting, do it before sewing. Do not press PUL, as it will melt the laminate, and you don't want to do that. That's it, you pressed it. I need to make sure now my trace lines are matching the pattern. Since I have pressed my fabric later than intended, I am just checking for the size, if nothing stretched, if I had any wrinkles that was pressed out and made the fabric bigger. Slightly, yes. You see how important it is to press your fabric before tracing. It will make all the difference. Yeah, I had a wrinkle on the bottom, that's why it gone a bit wonky. Here we go. Now let's check the topper. Topper was all over the place, so I bet is a bit off. Yeah. Yeah, never use scrunched up fabric. What I am going to place my sewing lines on the white core. It would be easier for me to see them. Now decide where you want your turning hole to be on the core, exposed core. I would like it to be somewhere here. Now I am ready to sew. You can pin core fabrics with the topper together. I'm only doing a light path, so I don't need awful lot of pins. I would need more pins if I was working with difficult fabric, stretchy fabric. But cotton is quite nice and sturdy. Okay. You will start sewing from this line here, from the start of your turning hole, to achieve much clearer turning point. Okay. Next stitch. Stop at your sewing line and now follow all around until the turning hole. Go slowly on a curve if you like to get a nicer finish. Stop when there is a sharp point, like this heart shape here. Turn with foot up, place the foot down and carry on sewing on the curve. Oh, that got very nice sweetheart shape. I really like it. Rebecca is a very good pattern designer. You should check out her group, Handmade by Glow Patterns. Those points I'm sewing here without stopping, they are quite curvy, so I'm just twisting slightly the fabric to make a nice smooth curve. And stop at your turning hole point and go up towards you. There we go. That is the exposed core. Now we will trim and turn it inside out before we place it on the back here. You see, with the PUL we need to do it, with the PUL and exposed core we need to do it slightly different than I did it before. This is so it doesn't damage the PUL, our stitches. Sometimes you can seal the PUL still. I prefer it to do it different way with the PUL pads. To trim, I'm using my pinking shears. They help to speed up the process, so I don't need to make so many notches. Things here now. I only need to do a little snip in a fabric at the point where is the sweetheart shape. This will allow fabric a bit of room so it can open up and turn and create a nice point. Okay, now I will pull the fabrics through the hole. Push them first, push and pull. There's my bamboo stick. To poke all the fabric out, when you can't do it anymore with your fingers, take a knitting needle or paintbrush, end of paintbrush, or this chopstick, and make sure every bit is out here. Don't push it too hard so you don't damage your stitches. Okay, and press this shape. Press the exposed core, tuck in the turning hole, smooth out the shape. If you're using a polyester fabric on top, I recommend to put a pressing cloth so it doesn't, the iron doesn't melt your fabric. Now my iron is ready. You place it on the top and put the steam. Don't move it around. Yeah, that's nice, pressed, finished. I will attach the exposed core to the topper of the backer now. But how to do that? It's a bit tricky when you have a random shape of the backer and the core. You can either put your topper, exposed topper, back side up. This is the wrong side of the fabric where we've got the tracing line, and that's the right side of the fabric. You put the right side of the fabric of the backer to the back of the exposed core. That's the front of the exposed core, this is the back of the exposed core. Place that on top and you can feel the core. This is like doing it blindfolded. You can feel the core around here and making sure it's all even on each side. That's one way of doing it. You can place one pin here and the other pin here just to keep it in place, and flip it over to the right side. The other way of doing it is, if your lines didn't bleed through as mine did, you can use a light box, so you will be able to see the lines you've made on the wrong side. You can see them through the right side. Then, to place the core exactly where it should be, how it looks on the pattern, put your handy little cutout pattern over the lines you can see in the light box that won't come through the back. Here we go. And put your exposed core on the top like that. Okay. That will be a perfect placement. Pin. I am just going to pin in 3 places right through the middle. You can pin it all the way around especially if you are using a difficult fabric, a stretchy fabric or slippery fabric. Here we go. That's our topper placement. We will sew that on now. Move your stitch length to about 3 and sew all the way around. Can you see where is my turning hole? You cannot even tell where it is because of the little tabs we sewn before. Okay, no. This way we are attaching the core, the exposed core, to the backer and closing the turning hole at the same time. We have the exposed core attached to the backer fabric. We will need to add the PUL. If you want to top stitch all around the pant later on, you can place your turning hole here. If you want to top stitch only the wings, place your turning hole somewhere on the wings. So you don't need to go over the whole pad, just the top stitch wings. Now put your PUL down, right side up, the shiny side down, and put your backer piece with exposed core attached on the top of that, with exposed core facing towards the right side of the PUL fabric. Now you can clip it with little clips here all around the pad, or use ball-point pins to pin it on the seam allowance. You can pin it on the seam allowance because this will not affect the waterproofness of the PUL, as the seam allowance will be trimmed after we sew. It's a bit difficult to use the pin, the clips, if you are sewing on the line and having loads of fabric all around the shape, so it's not close to the sewing lines. It's a bit more difficult to use these short clips, so I prefer to go a bit closer and pin it. Do not pin inside the sewing line, only on the outside, as this may affect your waterproofness of the backer fabric. Pin in the direction of sewing, so you sew it this way, you pin it with the pin going up, so it's easy to pull it out while you sew. Now start with sewing that little tab first, back stitch, stop where you see your sewing lines of the shape, and continue on the sewing line all around until the turning hole is finished. Go slow with the unusual shapes. You will have to go slow to make sure you are right on the line. Hats off to all the people that do that fancy shapes with many different details for a living. Hats off to you guys. Stop at the sharp point, lift your foot up, put your foot down, please. Stop at the sweet end shape, lift your foot up, twist the fabric, put your foot down, carry on. Here we're stopping at the wing shape, lifting our foot, turning all the shape over, putting our foot down and sewing. How is weather today where you are? Here is really miserable. It's raining and we've got some fog. It's really cold. Hey, autumn. I hope you live somewhere nice and sunny. I do like this kind of days for sewing though. When it's cold and rainy, it's nice to sit at home and sew. Oops. Oh dear, I just gone over my turning hole. will need to unpick this little part. When you see your turning hole, you stop at the little tab, go up, back stitch, that's it. I will just unpick those couple of stitches I've made. Alright, and I have done a little oopsie on the wings here, so I will correct that. That's better. I went a little bit outside of the sewing line. Okay, now once this is done, that's our back of the PUL, and this is our front with the core attached. Now I will trim around the shape with my pinking shears, of course. Then I will snip in the sharp corners, points. Not too close to the sewing lines, so you don't snip them by mistake. This is the first time doing this shape and this pattern, so it's a bit of getting used to going around those different shapes. Okay, now we will snip this one in, so we're giving room for the fabric. We're going to snip this corner off, make a little bit sharp point here, another off, and off with your head. Snip into the fabric here, do not snip off the stitches. Notching, off with this corner, off with this, and off with that point here. Make it a bit narrower, so there's not too much fabric in that point. Snip in here on the wings, and the sweetheart shape, of course. Now turn it inside out through the turning hole. Push a bit, push it first through the hole, and then push in and pull in. Ooh, really like this combination. Didn't have any other color of PUL than this royal blue, but it looks really nice against the red. Really like it. Sorry, a bit self-appreciation here. Okay, now push in and pull, stimulously pull here. Okay, we are pulling all this pad out. Sometimes I feel like giving birth to a pad when turning it through a small hole. Now poke the wings out. It's a bit more work when you're doing exposed core on the PUL backer than on the fleece backer, but it is worth it to achieve very thin trim pad. Okay, where is this little guy, little feature of the wings? Bat, my little bat. You have an option here with very plain and round wings. If you are not yet very confident in doing the fancy shapes, then you can do very nice smooth round wings. Yeah. Make sure every little bit is out. Everything is smoothed down. I will press it slightly before top stitching. Make sure not to press the PUL on too high or too strong, otherwise your PUL will melt. And never ever press on this side of PUL, unless you're using pressing cloth. Press from this side. Okay, I'm off to press. Now I have pressed the pad. The points on the wings are not as sharp as I would like them to be. When I press the pad, they keep going back inside. I should have trimmed them more closely. And hey ho, let's get top stitching. We need to close this turning hole, which I'm not sure where it is now. Oh, here it is. Okay. I will start from here all around pad. I am using tiny seam allowance, like I am less than 0.5 centimeters away from the edge. top stitching you can use a matching thread, so all your little oopsies won't be as visible. Now we are our own worst critics. I wouldn't call this pad perfect. The core is slightly off centered. I could have bring it a millimeter closer to this side. My top stitching could have been more even, but here we go. My first go at Handmade by Chloe bat pad. Perfect for Halloween. And this exposed core is great for absorbing your flow quicker, straight through the core. And your PUL is not damaged at the back. Can you see? No stitches around the core, which will make it very waterproof. I will later add a snap here. That's how it will look close. That's the back. We'll trim the threads. I hope you like this tutorial. Let me know what I can sew for you next. See you next time. Bye!